Moving house, it's a huge milestone, right? Super exciting. But with all that planning, there's this one sneaky risk that gets forgotten. What if something happens to your stuff on the road? That's where Removalist insurance comes in. So in this explainer, we're going to unpack everything you need to know to keep your things safe during a move here in Australia.
Okay, so just imagine for a sec. The truck's all packed up, you're on your way to the new place, and then, bam, something happens. A sudden break, a sharp corner, maybe even a little accident. What about that family heirloom or that brand new TV you just bought? Are they covered? It's a question that can keep you up at night for sure. So let's get you some answers.
And here's the first big surprise, a real reality check. Most of us just assume, oh, my home and contents insurance will cover it, right? Wrong. In most cases, that policy basically waves goodbye at the second your stuff is out the door. That's a massive, massive gap in your protection. And honestly, most people only find out about it when it's way too late.
Okay, so if your regular home insurance is out, then what's in? Well, that brings us to a special type of protection, one that's designed for this exact situation. Let's dig into what it is and why it's something you really need to think about.
The name you need to know is Removalist insurance. You'll also hear it called transit insurance. They're pretty much the same thing. And it's a special policy built specifically to fill that gap we were just talking about. It's designed to protect your stuff from the minute it gets on the truck to the minute it's safely inside your new place.
You know, it's so easy to fall into this trap. You think, I've hired the pros, so I must be covered. But not necessarily. See, the removalists, they have their own insurance. It's called public liability. But, and this is a big but, it usually only pays out if you can prove they were negligent and at fault. It's not going to cover a random accident on the highway or something totally out of their control.
All right, so you get it. You need this special insurance, but what does it actually cover? Because with any insurance policy, the devil is always in the details, right? So let's take a look at the fine print, what's usually in, and maybe more importantly, what's usually out. So, a decent transit insurance policy will have your back for the big stuff. We're talking about accidental damage in the truck, things like fires or water damage, even if your stuff gets lost or stolen during the move. And yes, it covers breakages, but here's the catch. Only if those items were packed properly. That bit is crucial.
Now, you absolutely have to pay attention to the exclusions. For instance, if you packed a box yourself and something inside breaks, a lot of policies won't cover that because they can't be sure it was packed right. It also won't cover normal wear and tear, little scuffs and scratches. And here's a huge one, valuables. We're talking cash, jewelry, that stuff is almost never covered. Seriously, keep those things with you.
But what happens if you're not moving straight in? Maybe you're putting things in storage for a month. This happens all the time. Well, your standard transit insurance might stop the second your stuff hits that storage unit. For the time it's sitting there, you'll need something different, a specific goods in storage insurance, to cover it against things like fire or theft inside the unit.
To make this all crystal clear, let's do a direct side-by-side comparison. This is probably the biggest point of confusion for people when they're moving, so let's break down the key differences between your home contents insurance and a proper removalist insurance policy.
Yeah, this table really spells it out. The easiest way to think about it is this. Home contents insurance is for when your stuff is just sitting there static inside your house. Removalist insurance is for when it's in motion, being packed, loaded, driven around, and unloaded. Your home policy might have some tiny clause about goods in transit, but it's almost never going to be enough. Removalist insurance is literally built for the unique risks of a move.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. Now let's get down to the practical stuff. How much does this peace of mind actually cost? And where do you even go to buy it? Let's turn all this theory into a real, actionable plan for you.
So, the cost isn't just one flat fee. It's usually a percentage of the total value of everything you're moving. A good rule of thumb is to expect to pay somewhere between 1% and 5% of whatever you declare your stuff is worth.
Let's put some real numbers to that to make it clear. So say you figure all your belongings are worth about $60,000. You could be looking at a premium of anywhere from $600 up to $3,000. Of course, the exact price depends on other things like how far you're moving and exactly what kind of coverage you pick.
Okay, so where do you buy this policy? You've got a few different paths you can take. A lot of the removal companies will offer it to you directly, which is super convenient. Or you could go to an insurance company that specializes in this stuff. You could even use an insurance broker. Honestly, the best thing you can do is shop around, get a few quotes, and compare what you're getting for your money.
You know what they say, knowledge is power, and that's especially true with insurance. Knowing your rights is key. So let's wrap this up by looking at the legal stuff that protects you, and then I'll give you a simple action plan so you can go into your move with total confidence.
The first thing to know is that this isn't the Wild West. It's a regulated industry. Any removalist who tries to sell you insurance has to have something called an Australian Financial Services License, or AFSL. That's not just boring paperwork, it's there to protect you. And they are legally required to give you a product disclosure statement, the PDS. Think of the PDS as your instruction manual. It has everything you need to know laid out in black and white.
So it really all boils down to a super simple 3-step plan. Step 1, ask for that PDS document, and please actually read it. Pay close attention to the exclusions. Step 2, declare the real value of your stuff. Don't guess or lowball it. That can really come back to bite you. And finally, Step 3, compare your options. Don't just grab the first one you see. Find the policy that gives you the right balance of cost and coverage for you.
So as you're getting ready for this exciting new chapter, I want to leave you with one final thought. You've spent so much time and energy getting your new home sorted. Your destination is all insured and ready to go. But have you insured the journey?